Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you're new to this show, or if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to pop on in for the good old hour that we do, it's every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I wanted to just do a quick shout out again to all my wonderful Patreons. You guys are amazing. And if you wanted to become a Patreon as well, or patron, I suppose, you head on over to patreon.com/JonathanRector. The links are at the bottom. You can see the video there, all that good stuff. I'm not going to drill that too hard with you guys. But what are we doing today? What are we doing, guys? We're going to be doing some more commissions. I wanted to say thank you as well. It's funny, over the last, oh man, I'd say 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I've just been getting a surplus of commissions, and I gotta say thank you. Thank you. If you're one of the people that have asked for a commission, thank you. It's always a treat to be able to do this. It's a different way, to get income as opposed to comics. I'd say it's a little faster, and it's a little bit more, I don't want to say necessarily rewarding, but I get to draw cool characters doing just stuff like a fight or something, right? And I'm not a guy that likes to draw the people talking all the time. You need it in storytelling and comics 100%, but deep down inside, I'm one of those guys that likes to draw the action, the fun stuff. That's the fun stuff to me. Everybody's likes what they like and all that. So anyway, okay, Zelda, you gotta watch out. I can't play right now, baby. If you hear loud noises, she's gonna be banging stuff. So yes, as you guys saw, if you look at the top there, I do have a little list of what's going on there. I am working on, this is Link from The Legend of Zelda versus Altair, I believe his name is how you say it, from the Assassin's Creed series. And during the pre-show here, I just set the file up, and I'll just run it through with you guys. And by all means, guys, if you had any questions, by all means, please ask them in the chat in all capitals. That way I can see it too. And if you wanted to commission yourself, head on over to Patreon. There's a few slots open there, and yeah. So all I did was just really quickly. This is something I got again working with the Freddy method, I like to call it, with the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. This isn't his necessarily idea where this came from. This is just general Photoshop use, but I do it in Manga Studio as well. I just have a quick folder just for reference. So we tossed a reference in there. These are just bust shots, so from the hips up, or sorry, from like the belt really up. That should be good to go. Oh, can you guys not hear me well? The audio looks like it's good on my end. Yeah, you guys might need to just do a refresh. Some people are having a little bit of problems. If you guys can't hear me, just let me know. It sounds like everybody's pretty good though. So we do this here. And then the next step is what you guys have seen me posting really on YouTube and stuff for a while now, which is the thumbnails. And I usually do three. Three is comfortable. This is written backwards. I did start with the third one, second and first. And the idea here is just to, you can tell, get like a composition, something that might be fun, and then we're going to take it into the next thing from here as well. So what I saw this one post, somebody, we're going to get in a drawing. We're not going to be talking this whole episode. But somebody posted this shot. It may have been Street Fighter or something, and I thought it was wonderful. Ow, Zelda, Jesus. What it was using like letters and using your composition that way. So when you have here, like this would be number one, here would be a T. Number two is like an upside down V, which is pretty basically a triangle. And then the third one here is just the letter X. And just trying to figure out how you can place characters in there. Now, as you can see, there's not much foreshortening going on. In these commissions, especially when it's multiple characters that are just bust shots, I tend to like to have them be pretty safe shots, not getting too crazy with angles or worrying about perspective and all that fun stuff. And I'm just trying to figure out, what's going on. I do enjoy 2. 2 has that, intimidation sort of thing on there, but 3's got that action that I'm kind of digging, and I like that X, that X shape for the commission, or not the commission, sorry, for the composition. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go there. So I have it here all on a separate layer. We're just going to select that, and we're going to grab our marquee tool, and we're just going to select it. We're going to do a control copy. We're going to paste it. And we'll turn our reference off here. Oh, we're gonna have to redraw over this anyway, so what I'm trying to do here is just sort of, place it on the page, and it's good enough. We're gonna finalize that. And we're just gonna lower the opacity. Usually I'll just crank it down to a blue so there's not too much colors going on. And let's get our pencil going. I should note as well, the other day because I've been sitting here doing a lot of these, what's it called? Comic pages and stuff on the side. And I'm getting kind of tired of just using the keyboard all the time. On the Huey on here, it doesn't have those express keys on her. So I hooked up, again, my video game controller. And if you guys haven't tried this yet, I highly recommend you guys try it. It's really cool. I'm able to just have one hand draw, and the other hand can just comfortably, any position I'm in, just hang on to the game controller, and we're good to go. Zelda, come on. You got to stop. I know you want to play, but this isn't a good time. So we're just worrying about the form right now. Now I believe both these characters I believe are left-handed. Let's just try something here. 1 second, you guys. Come on, Zelda. I know you want to play. Come on. Come on. Come on up. Come on. I know you want to play. Come on. Oh, big girl. Oh, there you go. Good girl. We'll play after, okay? Sorry, Mama. Okay, there's nothing like having a cat sleeping behind your monitor and just swatting at your hand because you're drawing with your pen. Okay, so yeah, let's get back to some stuff here. What's going on? What are we doing? Unfortunately for the stream, I wish I could zoom in more. Unfortunately, this is actually pretty comfortable. This size here. You guys have heard me talking, bringing this up as of late, to trying to not zoom in as much when drawing. Just zooming in as if I was sitting down at my drafting table and drawing on real Bristol. And I can't tell you guys and stress enough how challenging it's been. But it's been very, I don't want to say rewarding because that makes it sound like it's way more special than it is. But I have noticed that art that I'm doing is getting done faster because I can't zoom in and nitpick on all those little details and stuff, you know. These two characters, just for those coming in a little bit later, it's going to be, you can see at the top, it's Link versus Altair. I wrote up there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Link from Legend of Zelda versus Altair from Assassin's Creed, I believe it's from. I've heard great things about that game. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to play. I remember there's something here. One of his fingers, like these assassin characters, they cut, I think it's the ring finger off so they can slide a blade. So I'm just going to actually move this. We're getting really close. I will move it at the end. Just getting dangerously close to the edge. This one I wanted to try doing, flipping it. I think we're going to go with this composition here because they are both left-handed. And generally when people ask for commissions, they're fans of those characters, right? And those are like the little nitpicky things that I think if you're aware of, you may as well go ahead and make the effort to put that stuff in because your diehard fans, or again, with the commission and stuff especially, people, they really like those characters, you know? You got to give them the attention they deserve. Don't sacrifice the integrity of the characters just to fit the current situation that your drawing happens to be in. What's that? Jar, the hidden blade for Assassin's Creed comes from under the wrist. Okay, let me just take some of my own advice here. And Altair wrist blade. function. Could have been wrong. I think it's actually the pinky finger. Oh, they. It's a cool design, regardless. I mean, this is actually really sweet. So it goes all the way. Oh, okay. So it goes all the way up his gauntlet and slides down. Yeah, it's his ring finger. Okay. That's actually really cool. Gotta love concept artists. Unless that could have been a real thing. I'm assuming it was. All right, let's get back to her. Also, I should let you guys know too, because I know not everybody listens to all the stuff that all videos I do and all that, which totally understandable. But these commissions here lately, what I've been doing is that printer that I have. It's able to print on Bristol as well as like 11 by 17 Bristol. So I've been trying to do commissions digitally by getting that black line art on there and then printing it out and then using real stuff, real tools to knock out those real inks. And that workflow has sped things up dramatically. So if you're able to, I would recommend, if traditional work is something you're into, check it out. It's really good. So I'm just trying to adjust some of the stuff here. Okay. European, French, Italian artists? Oh yeah. Like who? Do you got any names at all? The people you're checking out? So a lot of this anatomy and stuff you can see, it's pretty rough, but we know what's going in here. And I'm pretty sure this guy is wearing like a cloak or something, right? Like, let's check our reference. Yeah, most of his anatomy is gonna be covered up, but in comics, at least the way I like to draw a cloth, not everybody draws like this, but I would say a large portion of comic book art, American comic book artists draw like this, where they'll still draw the anatomy and the fabric and stuff should wrap around it, which is great. But what ends up happening as well is you can kind of see like the ripped shoulders and stuff like that. Like I'll be putting in there in his bicep and tricep area. You can still see that, but the reason I like to put them in is like it's not taking me that long to put them in. But what it does is it lets me see where pinch points should be. And that's just something that works for me. I know there's a lot of really experienced people that draw fabric very well, and they don't do any of this. It's just they draw the shape of the fabric, which is something I'd like to learn one day for sure. John, got any pages on Facebook I recommend you follow? There's actually, what's it called? Digital comic book artists or something like that, I believe. Let me just paste it. I put it in last week as well. I think it's just it's only digital art only. So if you're into something like that, it's a pretty good community in there. Other than that, I'm not a big like. I'll share images and stuff on Facebook, but I don't really participate too much with like group chats and stuff. It's just something I never really got into that much. Digital comic book arts. Okay, so I'll post it in here in the chat. For those of you on YouTube, if you guys wanted to check it out, it's Digital Comic Book Arts. DCBA is what you're looking for. Yeah, James knows. I believe James is part of it too. So there you go, guys. You guys can check that out. Thanks, Matador. I'm just going to write these guys down to check out. These European artists. Serpieri, Bilal. That's a sick name. Bilal. That's really cool. Bach And obviously Mobius, yep. All right, so let's get back to the business. Zoom in a little bit here. A little bit of a kung fu thing kind of going on. What was the reference again? He has... Yeah, you know what? He's like, I'm gonna have a lot of this covered up with that armor, which we're gonna draw next. But what I can do as well is he's got. It looked like you guys can notice there's a little bit of a red fabric, and I'm assuming anyway. If I was designing that in concept art, you use something like that. It's kind of like a Ninja Turtle bandana. It adds motion to solid objects, or like if you ever saw a Ninja Turtle on a building, they're static. They're not moving, right? But that bandana can blow around, and the whole point of that is it shows movement, obviously. But on the, I would say the more advanced level, it's great for composition, big time. Always trying to think of a composition in there. Like if he had hair here, going this way with the hair, might make sense with the motion he's doing, but it would probably look even better if things were pointing. Like point back at his face, or even point at Link down here. It just makes your eye. Your eye doesn't, in my opinion, the eye doesn't care if perspective and things necessarily make sense. It only cares if it can. It doesn't get like jumbled up in the piece. If you just got this big convoluted scene and the eye doesn't know where to go, and it's always like that, like it's always on heavy duty. It can't relax anywhere. It's very stressful to see, and usually the general reaction is people just don't like it. The vast majority of people don't like it anyway. But knowing how to do that as well, like making a confusing scene, is good. Because sometimes in a story, right, in comics and stuff, you need that. You need to be able to bring in that little bit of confusion and stuff. Oh, any individual artists, you mean? Oh, man. Basically, anybody that's being published right now is a great person to follow. There's actually one guy. Is anybody else hear my audio dropping? I have switched to wireless, so that may be the problem. Just let me know. Let me just get one more guy. I always forget this guy. It's like Crenches Art or something. I've recommended him before, and I know you guys have corrected me on it. It might be C-Chan or something. Krenz. I'm gonna post it then once I find it here. Krenz Cushart. I highly recommend checking out this guy's stuff. It's absolutely beautiful, but he does a lot of breakdown work of characters in boxes and things. I really need to get back into watching and just looking at more of his stuff. But this is it here for everybody that's watching. Alright, so we're going to have him. That guy's done. What we'll do is we'll lower the opacity. I'm just going to make another layer. And this one we're going to do, we're going to draw a Link. That Link I like the... I'm a sucker for the Super Nintendo version. The teenage version is good. So I don't want to go too ripped with him, but he's kind of youthful. Now this is a tricky shot because I still want to be able to show Link's face if I can. Because I'm a big believer too, like, and that's one of the problems I'm gonna have by picking this commission or this version to go with, because usually when people ask for commissions, right, they want to see the characters, and one of the big defining features of a character is their face, right? So without having his face, it's kind of like, you know. So let's just sort of figure out the anatomy here. We're going to be tightening all this stuff up here. You can see with the cylinder here, I'm going to bend it, because that's going to give us like that extra motion in it, even though it's sort of breaking. What was a magazine I talked about before with you guys? It was called Comic Artist, I think. There's also like Manga Artist. It's like it's through the, damn it, what is that magazine called? You guys will know before I'll remember it. It's like an artist magazine, a concept art magazine sort of thing. But basically, Alvin Lee is in there, and he has this wonderful description in there. Imagine FX, thank you so much. Look at you guys. Look at all over it. Where he talks about foreshortening, and what trick that he does, and I've been trying to do it lately myself, is just with triangles. It's always like, especially with this, and you'll see me use it here, right? So I'll just try to sort of draw it in there. This is one point of the triangle, which is the wrist, and the elbow. Now, things get smaller in the distance, right? But the next spot is going to be the shoulder. So what this does is it gives you a quick check to see if your foreshortening is wild or if it's not, you know? So when I connect these, this is your triangle shape, right? So that foreshortening works because this line right here, number one, that line is longer because it's closer than the one behind us. Now, I mean, this might not seem like a, well, of course, if you've checked the foreshortening stuff, but it's a really good check because sometimes arms can get pretty wild, you know? Like, let's do it here because I feel like this one's probably going to be wrong now that I'm saying it, right? So, wrist, elbow, shoulder. So you can see right away that's wrong, right? And to be fair, things that are getting closer to us, like if this hand was like right here, like right in the front, that doesn't necessarily work as well. But this triangle shape, essentially what this will tell us as well is a shorter one, even though it's in the front, we know it's got to be like massive, right? Just to help it read. So try it out with this triangle thing. It might help you out. It might make things a little bit more easy to digest in your head. That makes sense. So we're gonna go here. So we'll have his elbow up here. And I'm not really gonna give Link the horseshoe triceps as much. I don't think he needs them. But I do think he should have some killer forearms. Yeah, little biceps. Little biceps. That's going to connect to the back there. Right. So here we can have, I'm going to have to check this out here. All right, let's save this up. Actually, I'm going to do a quick cheat as well. We're going to load up. I have no, I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is on there, but we might not be. I'm going to check out the Master Sword on Google SketchUp. Talking about speed. Get these things going. Don't want to be sitting around stagnating and stressing out about getting a sword right all the time. I might get some heat for this, but the way I look at it, if you're on a computer, you may as well use all the available tools you got. If you're working with pen and ink on paper, do the same thing. Do what you can. All right, get models. Let's see what we got. Master Sword. See if we get lucky. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Beautiful. It's there. Actually, move this onto on this screen so you guys can see it. Look at that. Look at that action. I really got to learn the shortcuts. All right, let's get Stan Lee out of here. All right, some people ask this as well. I'll show you guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to find the angle first, and then I'll show you the settings I tend to have. Usually they work. Sometimes they probably won't work tonight because we're streaming this, but so this is going to be some wild stuff. Ugh. I'm trying to find the angle. Alright, so let's just minimize this here, because I kind of want to see what we're doing. Let's get this off the screen. See the angle I'm kind of going for. So it's pretty flat. Just kind of curving it. I can already tell I'm going to have to change links. Hand? That's okay. Okay, so Un's asking a wonderful question, and he's saying, can't I just bring this into Manga Studio 5 EX? I think I can. However, I've never tried it, and I'm not sure how to do it. I know in Manga Studio 4 EX you could do this stuff. I was never able to do it. So, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, you can. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to do it. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and it's probably really wrong. So I'm going to also do this too. I like to do this camera field of view, I believe it is. Now when you zoom in, like the lines, like you see how weird that gets? When you zoom out, it gets this really cool stretch to it. Like, yeah. You see, like if you wanted a massive handle at you. The Master Sword's pretty long, so we'll go here. Alright, so we got that. Again, I'm just going to try this. Actually, I might want to see, because Master Sword's so cool. I want to show the front of it, but it might look better like that. And he's trying to block, damn it. Okay, we'll go this way. We'll see how this goes. We'll go. Anyway, okay, so we're going to go like that. Let me bring in the style stuff. Let's try to find it. So we go to edit. This is, I forget which model of SketchUp. But I do this for buildings as well, and especially Photoshop. After I do this, I just generally bring it in and add my faces to the building, like the windows and stuff. So you just start clicking these face settings, and eventually you'll find what you like. So this one's different. They actually bring it into this, you know, what's it called? Style. It used to be in a separate window, but you just click these and you'll notice that it changes. What you're looking for is this one, display in hidden line mode, or no, I guess not. Oh wait, no, that might be it, except what we need to do is we need to get rid of this background crap. Simple style. Sorry, it's been a little while since I've been in here. Oh, here we go. So we're going to turn the sky off. Background. I'm going to click that. I'm just going to show you guys what's doing in a window. I'm going to just crank this mofo all the way to white because I want that white background, right? Because I'm bringing this into somewhere else, right? See, so you can turn this stuff off. You want the ground, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're going to have that. Now, which face is it? It's one of these ones. So, like, theoretically, you could go ahead and bring this in like that and then draw all the lines over it, but that takes a while. And that's kind of, you know, not really the point. So enable transparency. Let's turn that off. Let's see if that fixes it. There you go. See, okay, so if I go enable transparency, you can see through it, which we don't want. We want that off, right? That stuff's solid. It's solid. So we're going to have that there. Now we're going to go into, where was it? I saw it before. It's usually not this hard. This one, sorry guys, like I say, I haven't been in this everywhere, but anyway, so edge settings. So this is the cool stuff. You want to go in here, so you can actually do stuff, right? Like you can make a contour line around it, put profiles, right? Like let's crank that to 3. Let's see how that looks. You see how all of a sudden the line just got thicker? I want to go to 1. See how thin that line art is? 2 is actually pretty good. I'm gonna go with 3 just to try it out. And there's some other settings you can go in here. I would try around with what you like, but this is really cool for buildings and backgrounds and stuff. And I'm actually going to rotate it once we get in Manga Studio. You'll see. I'm not going to leave it as is. It's sort of, you got to kind of get used to it here. So I'm just going to zoom in again. I like to fill this up as much as I possibly can with the screen. You can see the angles kind of changing. We're going to have to do some cleanup work, I can see in here. There's a second line that's causing some funk. So I'm actually going to bring over here. Now, the last thing we do is file export. Okay, is 2D graphic. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to show you. It's going to have a place to save it. Let's go ahead and do that. Emissions. Okay, anyway. When you go into options down here, this is what you want. Image size. You use view size or your own width and height. So what I do in Photoshop, I can't really do this in Manga Studio with backgrounds. I can try a little bit. But what you want to do is you want to find the width of the panel you're working in, right? And you can go ahead and just write that in there, and your height will automatically change with it so that it's the right dimensions it needs to be. Okay? Anti-aliasing, probably want that on. Transparent background, your call. But what I want to do here is I'm going to find edit. We want to find the canvas size, is that right? And right here, yeah, okay, so click unit, go down. I want to see pixels. So you can see the width is 5100 by 6600, okay? So 6600 is the height. I know this isn't the most fun thing to watch. Just bear with me. So we're going to go 6000. Click OK. We're going to call it Master Sword. And it's a PNG. You can change this to anything you want. I usually just go PNG. And it usually takes a little while. If you got a speedy kick-ass computer, this will be done quick. But this is, you know, really cool, man. A lot of, for those of you that might be a little hesitant on it or think it's cheating, I'm not going to get in that argument. I do know of Marvel, DC artists, people in the biz that use this as well. And they'll just go ahead and just use that and then ink over top of it and beat up the lines a little bit. Or there's other people that will just take this and change it to blue lines and then just ink over top of it so that the lines aren't perfect, right? Alright, so I don't know if my computer just died. So sometimes it'll do this. I'm going to go back into Manga Studio while it has its heart attack because it might have already saved it. So import image. Alright, let's find our folders. Master Sword, let's see if it's done. If it's done cooking. There you go. So just press enter. And you can see like it's done, right? Like it fits. Whoops, it's a little weird. So some of these lines we're gonna have to change and all that, but that's cool. So I'm just trying to place it. Ah, jeez. Sometimes Manga Studio is not cool, man. Alright, let's paste it back in. Move it. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to right click on this guy. We're going to rasterize it. What rasterizing does is just makes it its own thing, so it's not this special object. And then you can just go here and click it to multiply, and it'll go through all your line art. But I'm just going to use this to transform it where I need it, right? So we can have the sword. I know where I need the sword to be. So what this does is this tells me where I need to change my art. So, you know, this probably was a smarter thing to do first, as opposed to, you know, doing its own thing. So just move this guy around. What I might do here is I'm just going to transform it. I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. And just make it a little skinnier as well. I'm not quite sure how that looks, if it looks too janky. Sometimes it needs a little bit more adjustment and stuff, right? So it's starting to look a little fake. But this is the noodling and stuff like that, you know. So what I'm going to do, just to help this, is I just want the blade to actually before that, I just want to show you guys. So if I zoom in, so you guys can see the artwork or whatever, because I've been transforming it, a lot of it's kind of, the integrity's kind of got shot. But if you were doing buildings, I just want to show you like how much of the work is done. Like a lot of the heavy lifting, if you're doing guns and stuff, there's easy ways to get the line quality better. But even the way it is, I mean, Let me just get a new layer above it. I'll grab like a normal inking tool I would have, like a G pen. Like, look how fine these lines are. I'm just drawing right beside it. And it looks, you know, it looks fine. It's very hard for people to tell unless you leave it just like this. But if that's your style, knock yourself out. But like just by doing, and you guys see me do this all the time, right? Like let's just say the bottom part here, or the handle. So I probably come in here and just, you know, bang this sucker up. Maybe you want to draw on white just to, like, you know, you can see I'm just scribbling all over the place on this thing just to break up the quality of the line. And then go ahead and just ink it like you normally would, right? And you can put your rendering on there, all your stuff. And quickly, it doesn't even necessarily look like this is what you did, okay? So I just want to show you, you know, yeah, like you're saying it perfectly right there. Learn to draw first. I know that sounds a little like, well, what the fuck, because look what I'm doing. Even though, so what's the point of learning if I'm just gonna go ahead and just do this? Again, I just want to highlight. You'll know. I hate preaching this stuff, but you should know when to do this and when not to do it. Arguably, I use it as a crutch. I use it probably more than I should. I'll be honest with that. Sorry, I'm just trying to get get the sword going. But when you understand how to draw this stuff first, you then know how to break it, and break it in a good way, and how to unpaint yourself from a corner that you may have put yourself in. So what I'm going to do once I actually go in here to finish this is I'm going to draw over this. I'm going to actually have the lines go, like, you know, to a point so it doesn't look like he's, or closer to the Master Sword, you know, so it doesn't just look like he's using this giant, like, oar from a boat or something like that. So I haven't even been looking at the chat, guys. Apologize. Heavy Voodoo. Jonathan, you could use this thin, thickened line to amongst you to add some line variation. Possibly. We can try that out. So line, where's that setting at? I know it's in some whack. If you happen to know where it is, I could try it out for us. If not, that's cool too. All right, so let's go back to Link, because Link's gotta change. He's gotta change with the times, man. Under correct line. Oh gosh, correct line. Any idea where that's at? The bottom icon. Oh. I never even knew this was a button. What is this? Correct line width, simplify vector line. Hello. So let's mess around here. Let's fiddle with Manga Studio. Correct line width. Okay, let's see what this does. Ooh. Ooh, that is deadly. I don't know if you guys saw what just happened there. I'm going to go back and show you some magic. So that's a MVP post by Heavy Voodoo. fucking VP. So I'm going to turn the layers off. We're just going to do this on a separate layer. I'll do this on my own. So this actually helps quite a bit. Check this out. So we got this line art that's, you know, but this correct line width, I'm assuming we can change the width that it's going, or the increments that you're painting over top of it. But just say I want to do the contour line, so it's like anything I'm doing like this. You see that? Oh man, this is hot. Look at that. You can just, oh boy, this is a game changer, I'll tell you that. Cause look at that, it even fades in. Holy hell. Thank you, sir. This is Works better on a vector layer, but it still works. Yeah, damn straight it works. Look at this. Look how fast you can. Yeah. MFVP. Motherfucking VP. So it looks like it's just a contour line like the outside. Can you get the interior stuff? No, wait. That's really weird. Not that I don't mind it, because I mean it actually works with the workflow I like to do like one hell of a lot. Look how fast you can just paint like line weights, man. Holy shit. Sorry, I'm just like losing my mind here, guys. I'm not sure you guys understand the power of this, especially if you're into line weights. This is amazing. Look at this. There's a straight, quick pass. And for those of you that already know this, and I'm just catching on late. Sorry about that. But what other reasons? Like this is insane. So we got a really sweet contour line that I can like. Look at that. That already looks way better. And then I can go ahead over top of it with a new layer, and then just draw in with ink like I normally would. Man, thank you. So this is it appears this is good for vector art. Yeah, I know. Everybody's losing their minds. So what I'm gonna do actually is 1 second. I'm gonna open up something that's not like that. I'm gonna open up. Let's see what we got here. Let's open up a comic page. See how much we can really have some fun with this. All right, let's open up some Worlds in Peril. We haven't opened that in a while. Okay, that's not there. Commissions, is that why? Yep. Inks. Villain. I think this is like a double page spread. Yeah, of course it is. Okay. Works for raster too, eh? God dang. Okay, so we're gonna have this. Now let's try it out. I just want to check it out before I tell you guys how to go ahead and do this. Oh, maybe that's why. Okay, so let's try this. So we go over here, right click. It's this button here. If you look at your two color swabs, you got white and black. Go up. There's like the select button. It's right here. Turn off affect whole line. Let me bring this out here so we can see it. This is having a Viagra. Digicom is saying turn off affect whole line. I'm not sure. Maybe I can't. Oh, is it in the settings here? God. Okay. See, now we're getting into this whole holy shit. I can't. Maybe you guys are seeing something I can't. I apologize. I know it's hard to talk, try to teach somebody over this. I don't see where you guys are seeing. What I'm trying to do here is, let's just see if what lines I can. I'm not able to. Maybe it's because this is gray. Let's put this to color. Let's see if that does anything. Can't imagine it would, but you never know. Nope. Let's try monochrome. Ugh. Nope. That was weird. I don't know why. Let's go back to gray. It was working on that one cool thing. I don't. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to do a little testaroo here, cause, or actually, can you make?
to see something here. I just want to see something here. See how cool this program really is. Yeah. All right. So right now, I'm trying to convert it to a vector layer. No idea if it'll work, but that'd be cool if it did. And if that's the case, then we should be good. I don't know why it was working on that other image. Maybe because there was less information on it that it would know that that was that. I'll do one other quick test here if this doesn't work here. Oh, sweet. Okay, we got it to work. All right, so the art quality just took a dump. I just want to zoom in here and show you. So if I turn this off, this is the original one. I just duplicated the layer to make it a vector, just to see. And it is working on here. See, like, let me see if we can get something that you guys can see. There's so much going on here. It's hard to tell. This guy, I guess. So I'm going to just make these hands real fat. You can just keep building it up, building up. And it looks like this one point is the increments that it's going up. But you can actually like feather it in. So it looks like smut on here, that's for sure. But I just want to do one other quick test because doing it on this Master Sword was just, that was badass. All right, before I get too excited here, let's see if it'll work on just a separate layer. All right, so we got that. Let's go ahead and click this magical. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I'm sorry, guys. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. This is such a game changer. You guys have an idea for sure, but like I'm able to pet the lines confidently. I just want to point this out. You know what's actually really cool about this? And thank you again for recommending this. This actually just flipped this whole thing around. Is, you know how we always talk about the Freddy method? And for those of you that don't know the Freddy method, go by the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. We'll talk about it there. But I'm just going to show you really quickly how powerful this is. All right, so let's make a new layer. I'm going to go into gray. That's fine. I'm just going to do a very fast face. Nothing impressive. Let's go to blue just real quick. So 3/4. Cool. So in the Freddy method, what he suggests doing, at least his workflow, is using just a certain, I think it's 3-pixel brush, dead weight, and then you go ahead and you add like this just black dead contour line over top of that, which is basically just a thicker line to get you set up to go into inks. Now, some complaints I've heard from people is they don't like that because they don't like the art, the way it looks, it feels dead, blah, blah, blah. Totally reasonable. Everybody should find out and try things to see what it is in certain styles and art that they like and what they don't like, right? You're never going to know unless you check it out. So I'm just going to use this brush here because it's pretty, you know, whatever. Now, I am using a monochrome layer, so some people might not like that, but let's check it out. So we would just go like this. We were just doing the dead line. We're not worrying about line weights. We're just trying to get the honest, clean lines in here. So when we ink, we know how much more room we have here. And please excuse the high quality art that's being produced. I like that one eye. Screw him. Maybe he got a scar. Oh, he's been in some bad news bears. Oh, yeah, he's got a real dome head and everything. Just great. So this would be it. All right, cool. So the next stage, we would just add that fat line. But with this juicy tool, I go ahead and set. Actually, I guess I could probably just do this. Just very quickly. Let's see how this turns out. Boom. Now there's some other lines I got hit with that, but damn, that is some hot shit. So let's change it up and say that the light was coming from like here. So what we would do is we would just. Fuck yeah, that's great. I mean that's a little beefy, but we just change that. Let's see. Even thinner. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, so we'd go like underneath the eyebrow there. Just gonna bring that in. Underneath the chin. The ear. Oh, Whoops. So there is a limit to how gross you can go with it. But I will say, as like a quick pass, that's. Oh man. And like again, look what I was able to do with just this Master Sword. I mean, it's very primitive, but it's cool. Really cool to be able to have that kind of tool in your tool belt. It's not a real sketch. Alright, so let's delete this. We can always play with that later. We can get back to the action. Alright, well thank you so much. Thank you. That was let's put it this way. Every now and then there's a few things that come into your art world that change things up a bit. So it's always nice when something fresh comes along. And let's be honest, that thing, it's not like it just showed up. It's always been there. Just never ever clicked on it. Because why click, right? You got drawn to do. There's no time to click. Alright. So we're going to go there. See if we can get this hand in here. Okay, so it's almost about time to wrap up the show. So like usual, I want to say thank you guys. Love you all. If you're new to the show, click subscribe at the top. You'll get an email whenever we go live. I've been trying to stream at least like 2 or 3 times a week. Usually it's during the weekend, so if you guys are interested, it's just usually music, but you never know. Also, while I keep plugging here before I draw, if anybody has anything for a critique this week, by all means, please drop a link in the chat. And how to make where's that link, Matt? Matador, I should say. So again, if anybody's got oh man, I just want to say to everybody that's watching on YouTube, tonight has been very interesting. The chat is actually full of some interesting links. We'll just put it that way. especially if you're into comics. But if anybody does have a critique, okay, art by Peyton, awesome. So please post a link to it in the chat, and we'll butcher it to hell if we can, and hopefully we can help some people out. And if you just came into the show a little bit late, that's cool. No need to stress. This show is every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you came in now, go ahead and subscribe. And you're looking at an hour from whatever time you're at right now. That is the worst hand I've ever seen. Whatever time zone you're in right now, just take a look at an hour, and that's when we start. Next Wednesday, okay? Alright, let's see if we can get a hand to wrap around this. That's what she said. Totally game related and absolutely no, take your time, Art. Absolutely not comic book related at all. And if you are a comic book artist, chances are you don't play video games anymore, which is probably smart. But I'm going to talk about video games. So I just recently started getting into the Dragon Quest series. I don't know how many of you guys like RPGs. I'm a big fan of RPGs. And I've tried to get into Dragon Quest before, but it always just felt so... Okay, Link's arm's all fucked. But they always felt so like cartoony and kiddie. I love Akira Toriyama's artwork. And he's... I don't want to say renowned, but like he's always on the art and all that stuff. So it's always great. Anyway, I was watching some videos and some people were talking, or some guy was talking about being able to download the very first one on your phone, and it's very old school and just it's not. Just don't go in it with high expectations. Anyway, I went in there with the low expectations of it just being cute and fun and whatever. And it's got, you know what it has is just charm, absolute charm, and I've just fallen in love with it. And I've been looking at the other games in the series and stuff like that, and there's all these new ones coming out for PlayStation 4 and all this other stuff. So, anybody else a Dragon Quest fan in here? Anybody? Anybody at all? Nobody? Okay. Alright, so let's save this up. Let me just scroll up here in case we had... no, okay. Yep, go ahead there, Art. You can just place it right in the chat there. Yep. Oh, and I should say as well, in the chat anyway, he goes by the name of James GSR. I recommend checking out his stream. Very, very good time. And his is it every week? Should be. It's every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the same time zone as this here. All right. So Art is the first on the chopping block. All right. So we got a spawn drawing. Just clicking on it, waiting for it. Oh, it's a big boy. It's a big boy. All right. All right. So I'm not going to talk about the coloring. I'm just going to go in with the actual anatomy, okay? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Then we're going to wrap up the show. And again, thank you guys so much. And thanks as well, Arpa Payton. I know a lot of people don't like to share their stuff, especially when somebody's going to rip it apart. But for those of you that do share this stuff, you're not only... If I can help you guys at all, thank you so much. If not... I mean, sorry. But for those of you that are able to help during the stream, I have been told before from other people as well that watch on YouTube, thank you for this. Some people, this is their favorite part of the show. But critiques are critiques, right? Whatever can help anybody will probably help somebody, okay? So, I'm going to lower the opacity on this boy. Let's lower all this crap here. So, I just want to quickly, let's just go through it real fast. So, the first thing is there's a lot of elements in here that are put together, I feel, that aren't connecting it. So you've got this, what it looks like to me is just like a Google search city put in the background with like a filter effect in Photoshop. On top of Spawn, who's got these flat colors, which is fine. But then you went ahead and added... it looks like a burn tool, perhaps, or an airbrush of just a darker color, and there's no shadow. That's the big problem with what's going on here. Okay, so, and then the best part is it's Spawn, and you've given him energy in his hands, which is great because that tells you right away where your shadows are gonna be. Okay, can you hear me, Art? Looks like his computer froze. So, I will commend you anyway. Again, Spawn is a very complicated character to draw. There's a lot of things going on. Is saying in the chat, which is the basic breakdown of what we're going to get down there, is just keep studying your anatomy. Life drawing, I'm not going to argue life drawing. Some people get more out of it than others. I don't think it's necessary. I do recommend checking out other comic book artists, though, if that's what you want to get into. See you later, Michael. Okay, and then drapery. Drapery is very tough in the beginning, and then there's ways you can fake it, but I have so much to learn on it still too. Okay, so I just want to just talk very briefly before we do the draw over. Some other issues we're gonna have, you're gonna see really quickly, is his head is way too big for his body. His hands don't match up. His arm is weird, and some other stuff. What an artist told me, because you draw pretty similar to how I used to draw in this stage, is they look like rubber people. Okay? And what they mean by that is there's no bones. It's all muscle. And what happens is I only realized this after. I like drawing like this because I felt I could get more dynamic energy in there. I felt like I could just draw cooler anatomy, right? But the problem is when you don't include the bone that's there, there's nothing for them to stay solid on, that ground it and give it that form. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna show you. We're gonna turn that to blue, and I'm going to grab a pencil, and all I'm gonna do is draw what you had. Let's see if I can. It's a little. All right, we're not gonna make it blue because I just can't see it. All I'm gonna do is draw cylinders. Okay, just cylinders over top of it. No, don't worry about if it's bad or if it's good. It doesn't matter. As long as you continue to draw, and please keep drawing, keep trying to get better, and you will. It's that simple, guys. I I know there's a thing, and some people believe it, some people don't, where, and I think it comes from people that don't know much about this, but they'll look at somebody, or maybe you were told this, it's like, oh wow, you're talented, you have a talent. Personally, I don't think art is a talent. I just think it's a skill that some of us choose to pursue more than others. I know jack shit about cars. If anything goes on my car, I have no clue what to do. Right? Now, I don't look at the mechanic and go, man, you're talented. I don't. I just know that this person has studied a craft or a trade for a while, and they're good at it, right? So that's all this is just learning how to break it down and trying to rebuild it. That's basically it. So, and I know you're probably just saying, it sucks and all that stuff, trying whatever, and I don't want you to get down from it. And I hope I don't come across that way, but just know that it needs work and you will get better. So just go ahead and hammer out all the shit art you can. That way you can get the good art out there, right? And that's basically all you can do. So let's just show what you did. And I'm going to go ahead and assume you didn't do this stage right here, okay? And I'm just going to do it over top of your art, which is the form. I don't think there was form. I think in a lot of cases with this sort of stuff, we have a tendency of just going right into the cool stuff. You don't want to slave over the nitty-gritty stuff, okay? So I'm going to start with the chest here, and all I'm doing is just like, you'll see, I'm going to redo this. But we're going to have here, and it looks like your perspective, we got the tilt kind of coming up here. And it's kind of weird because now you have it tilted up here, which is the collarbone. I'll just put that there, right there. And your center line is going like this. And you have the hips going this way. We're just going to do that underwear shape. And I really want to point this out here too, because you did sneak in a kneecap. Okay, so I just want to be honest with what we have. We have our shoulder. I'll do a circle here, just a little easier to see. And we got a hand. I won't worry about the fingers and all that stuff. Don't worry about that. And this is the best part. If you guys do digital work, if you can, I would highly recommend you do this, or if you can't, just light table. Because if you ever feel like something's not right, or damn it, how do I get better, and blah 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 blah. Like, how does that work? Is just do what I just did here. Just cylinders. Keep it honest. Just put cylinders over what you did. So I'm gonna turn it off. This is what we have. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and assume we didn't start here. Maybe you started with the stick shapes with this kind of stuff. I don't like that. I haven't really ever liked that. At least with cylinders, you can get form. So right away, when you look at this, you can see where all your errors are, right? Hopefully. If you can't, that just means you need to study more on, having a brain freeze here. It's not perspective. Oh, God. The shape in relation to other shapes. Oh man, I want to say it starts with a P. I can't go on until I share this. Maybe you guys will be able to help me on the chat. Sorry about this. What is this called? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Proportions. Whew. Long day or what? Proportions, okay? So what proportions mean are shapes in relation to shapes, okay? So a proportion of an arm, if we're going to do the exact same thing, shoulder, bicep is pretty small in the grand scheme of it, and your forearm is about the same size as this, like that, okay? So if we look at that, check out what we got, some action going on here. So the shoulder is the same width as the bicep, which is fine, but that means that it can be coming at us if you want to put the bicep in there. But then the forearm does the same thing. It's like it's going sideways. It's not coming at us. If it was coming at us, this thing might be like this. You see? You see how it's now we've got some volume kind of coming in like this? And this arm over here is the biggest offender because everything like that would have been fine the way you had the shoulder and the bicep, but this guy, this one needs to really come out. You need to really pop that one off like that, right? It just gives it that that it's coming at us. The way we have it is that it's very stubby. Okay, so anyway, we have this, no problem. So I'm just going to show you, and I recommend everybody do this, and some of you will, and some of you won't. That's fine. I just recommend you guys do a lot of cylinders in your sketchbook. Cylinder people. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. But just how I would approach it, okay? So I like what you have here. You're doing the superhero thing with the chest coming out, but instead of curling it down like this, like you had before, let's just follow perspective. And perspective is something you're going to have to learn, and it's just going to take practice, and just like everything, practice, practice, practice. I like to start with the chest because everything usually comes from the chest, especially in a shot like this. So we're going to have that. All right, so we're cutting the bottom out. So now I know that the volume in this perspective is going like that. It's going away from us, right? If we were to put like, if you ever look at a video game, like the wire mesh frames, it looks like that. It's wrapping away from us, okay? So that means that his pecs, like they still need to be way up here, but that line is going to show us the angle that they're going to go on, right? So let's just put that center line, and I'll put my collarbone in there. And you can see right away what's going to happen, where things start to like sort of follow in line with each other. See you later on. Thanks for coming in, bud. Thanks for all the help, too. Now, with proportion, now you can kind of see, right? So he's coming at us. So, again, you're going to have to study this on your own. I don't have the time to go over it right now. But just like with the hands, this is kind of coming at us. So it's going to be bigger than the chest is going to be. That's just the way perspective works. And we're going to, again, throw those thighs. And the knees are really like way over here. You probably wouldn't even see them. Now I'm going to cut out the sides with these little circles. That'll be where our arms are going to go. But first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slap in another line up here. Again, following that same formula that we have, right? And this is where our pecs are going to follow across. Now watch, they're going to do this really weird thing. They're going to start to wrap around this way because his arms are still being pulled back. And you can still make them look ripped, right? You just put like this little line here. If you ever look at like a bodybuilding magazine, they do this all the time. And this is where your shadow would go if you really wanted to show massive pecs, but we're not going to get into that. So we're going to have that. And again, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to have his arm here. And it looks like you're trying to, like, imagine right now if you guys are sitting there, sit in your chair, you're standing up. Imagine you just ripped off your shirt to show your Superman emblem underneath, right? Like, you're pulling back. That looks like the feeling you're trying to do. Like he's, you know, it's a really Spawn pose where he flares the chest out and he's really pulling those arms back. So if that's the case, what we're doing, those shoulders are coming here, but these lines are like his arms are coming way back here. And you're going to get kind of this action happening. And this perspective we already have, we can just copy the lines over, you know? Like we can go bang, okay, there's a shoulder, that lines up on that perspective. And I realize I'm most likely going over stuff you're not comfortable with, like how I'm matching all this stuff up with perspective. Most likely because you still have yet to look at perspective stuff, which is fine. Or just keep looking at it. Don't get discouraged by any of this. Just trying to keep this quick here. Right? Everything kind of comes in like that. And what this does right away is now I can see exactly where his head would be. And you got to get that cool Spawn looking down. And you get that big beefy neck, and he's going to have those big puffy lats, or those whatever the hell, the massage muscles at the top. And you can see how small his head is because it's going away from us, right? Everything's going away. And it feels really weird to draw like this as things go like this back into the distance. Back, back, back. They get smaller because they're going away from us, away from us. This stuff's coming way forward at us. Look at this. Look how like extreme these cylinders are going. But that's the way the anatomy has to follow, right? This is because of perspective. That's why that has to work like that. You know, and you can really flare out his ribs. Maybe not that much, it's kind of gross. And just by drawing the abs, the top of the abs like this, that'll help sell that illusion, you know. And we'll take some liberties here. I'm going to just trim up some of this stuff so it's not as accurate. So it has some style to it, some flair. Yep, sorry, I didn't even say this. I got sidetracked. Yeah, these shows, they all get uploaded on the weekend. So, yep. And then this is where you could get, like, even, again, because the hands are coming closer at us, but these hands can be massive now because they're coming right at. And I will say, this is obviously my style of drawing, what I like. Maybe those look a little too goofy, actually. Just tone it down a bit. And he probably doesn't have fists. Spawn's hands, usually they're probably, like, coming out like old witch twiggy hands, you know, like he's conjuring up demons kind of stuff, right? But you can see right away. Whoops. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm gonna try to have streams on the weekend, Lars. I'm not sure. Right now it's kind of a crazy period. If I can, I totally would. Totally would. So I'm just gonna turn it off so you can see. This is what we're looking at. This is what the foundation, and this is what I really hope you guys get away from this whole critique. Okay, is just be brave, have the balls, and have the patience to just get this right as you can. Okay, because this is, without this, unfortunately you're stuck with nothing. You're building on the hopes of getting somewhere, whereas this could be any character now, right? This could be, I don't know, right here we could have, it's Magneto and he's got his helmet here and he's looking at it and you got some cool perspective, I don't know, whatever the hell, right? It could be any character you want, but without this foundation, you can't. It's like, I don't want to go with the house analogy or whatever, but like if you ever heard of people building like figurines and stuff out of clay, usually they start with wire or some sort of base, you know, like a frame, a skeleton to work off of. And that's what this is. This is what this is supposed to be, okay? Because with this, yeah, it could be anything. It could, I don't know, you could even add more arms and now it's like Goro from Mortal Kombat, right? Like this is the cool stuff to me anyway. But again, you'd have this and then you would just do the exact same thing we just did, right? You just lower the opacity, just keep building on it. And now that you have all this information, you can go ahead and, my next step would be figuring out all the anatomy in here, right? So if we had like a wrist kind of coming up, and again, remember when I talked about bone? There's an elbow here, and by having that, it just solidifies everything else into where it should all kind of go. And this is obviously where all your study's going to go, like getting to like what kind of style of anatomy you like, and you know, artists you follow, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do the whole thing like this. I just wanted to show you, right? Like, and this is it. This is how the foundation just goes. You just keep build, 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 and then you add the costume on top. Okay. And the last thing I'll point out too is the cape. Whoops. So yeah, here you can actually see the difference between the two. Yours is in black over top of mine there. So the cape, if you notice up here are your skulls, those are used for pinch points. So what pinch points are is that's where the fabric gets pulled from. Okay, it all gets ripped away. I kind of remember Spawn's cloak is a cowl. What is it called? What do you call it? So let's just try to do a quick one here. So the pinch points again are these skulls, and you're gonna see kind of like how I like to do this here. Okay, so again, you're doing it right. You have all this kind of stuff going on. What did you do? You kind of had it come in like this, and then it went out like that. Pretty sure it wraps around like a Dracula kind of thing. But anyway, this fabric, if you can see, it's all getting pulled into here, right? So when you go ahead and do his shoulder things, doesn't it kind of come out? Like, anyway, okay, you can see this is what I'll do. So I have these lines that are sort of like the flow of the image, and then lines just kind of pull into this. They all kind of fold in. But I'm pretty sure he's got like this weird stuff going on. But anyway, this is where the practice will come in, because this is, again, where all the folds and all the things, and you'll find shorthand ways of doing stuff. But I wouldn't really worry about getting that down just yet until you can kind of get everything else down. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. I hope that helped you guys. Really do appreciate it. Thanks again to Art by Peyton for sharing, and hopefully I was able to help you. And if you guys are watching the stream, thank you guys. I hope you guys got something out of it too. I know I did. If you're using Manga Studio, go back, check out this little feature right here. I'm just going to mouse over now, this correct line tool. It's got some serious potential. And we'll check that out. So again, you guys, thank you so much. You can check out my website and my work at jonathanrector.com. And if you came in late or whatever, all this stuff, we'll always have this show every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then it'll be re-uploaded on YouTube that weekend. So thank you all for sharing, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. I wouldn't be able to do this, guys, without you. And until the next one, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.